Hi everyone, Mrs. E here. In this brief video, we are going to discuss how to tackle IXL N.7, suggest appropriate revisions. Now we know that this particular skill is something that we see a whole lot of on the ACT English section. A lot of the questions that we come across involve examining a passage as is and then making suggestions for how to actually improve that piece of writing. Now, in this particular exercise, we have a handful of categories in which we are going to be specifically looking for improvement. So the first task is making sure that we really understand these different categories. The first one is about ideas and development. Ideas and development beg the question, does the writer express a clear main idea, and do they actually develop it with evidence, examples, and analysis? So if we come across a question on this particular exercise that asks us to examine how we might improve the ideas and the development, we want to be thinking first, okay, does this writer include a clear main idea? Do I know what they are writing about? And then we can ask ourselves, are they supporting that main idea? Do they provide effective and sufficient evidence, examples, and do they explain that evidence such that I understand its relevance to the main idea? Now, the second category is organization. We might ask ourselves, does the writer order their ideas in a clear and logical way so that they build upon each other and so that it's easy to follow? Again, if you see a question that asks you to examine a passage's organization, you want to be looking specifically at the way in which the ideas within that passage are ordered. Do they make sense, or would they make more sense if they were shuffled around in a slightly different pattern? Sentence fluency refers specifically to the writer's use of sentences and sentence structure. We want to make sure that they use a variety of sentence length. Too many short sentences in a row tend to make our writing sound really immature. Sentences that are way too long can also be really confusing and rambling sounding. So we want to make sure that they have an appropriate flow and that things don't sound too choppy or too repetitive. Now, when it comes to word choice, we're looking not so much on a sentence level, but on a specific word level. We might be asking ourselves, does the writer use words accurately and precisely? Do they avoid excessive repetition or inappropriate language to create clear, effective, and engaging writing? Once you've identified what that writer is writing about, ask yourselves, are they really using the best words to do so? Last but not least, grammar and mechanics. We always want to make sure that we are producing clean writing that is free of spelling and punctuation and grammar errors. So if you see an IXL question specifically focusing on grammar and mechanics, you want to go ahead and turn on that part of your brain that is attuned to proper capitalization, proper spelling, especially some of those tricky and commonly misspelled words or easily confused words, and then also proper punctuation as we practice with all of our other IXL exercises. All right. Now, feel free to revisit these categories while you work on this IXL as needed, but let's go ahead and take this knowledge and apply it back to a particular passage. Now, this question specifically draws our attention to sentence fluency. Now, that means we're looking on the sentence level, as we just reviewed. We want to be asking ourselves, do the sentences have a nice logical flow? Or do they sound too choppy, or are they too long? And do we have any issues of like too many types of the same kind of sentences in a row, right? Such that they sound kind of repetitive. All right, so our passage begins. Our school needs to serve better food for lunch. Our lunches should be delicious. Our lunches should be nutritious. Our lunches should be satisfying. One way to achieve this would be to have a salad bar available. Salad bars can contain far more than just lettuce. Fresh fruits can be included in a salad bar. Fresh vegetables can be included. Different kinds of meats and cheeses can be included too. Even pasta can be stocked in a salad bar. With these healthy options, students can make their own tasty lunches. Now, the two options that we are giving is that we could improve this text either by using shorter sentences or by combining sentences that contain related information. Well, if we look back at the passage, we actually have quite a few short, simple sentences in a row, which produce writing that sounds a little bit choppy, in my personal opinion. However, that problem could be resolved by combining some of these shorter, choppier sentences that cover related information. For example, our lunches should be delicious, our lunches should be nutritious, and our lunches should be satisfying. Assuming that this writer is not attempting to use, the rhetorical device of anaphora, we could easily suggest that they combine these to say that our lunches should be delicious, nutritious, and satisfying, which would give us a much more fluid sentence flow. So our best answer is the second one. Again, you're going to use the same logic as you progress through the remainder of the exercise, and never hesitate to go back and reference that list so that you know what specific type of feedback you're trying to provide.